8:36 at News Radio WCCF 1580 AM 100.9 FM. You know what that music means. We want to say good morning to talk show broker associate Jennifer Taberski and realtor Philip Rispoli, working out of the RE/MAX Anchor office in Punta Gorda. They represent the multi-MLS home search engine, MyDigitalListing.com. Also with us today, our old friend and internet star, the one and only Nathan Davis from Mortgage Loan Advisor at Hamilton Home Loans. Nathan, always good to see you, my friend.
Thank you. Always a warm welcome.
Yeah. So happy to be here. Hey, we're never gonna underhype you. Let's put it that way. That's just not gonna happen on this show.
I don't get this at home. So
well, that's why you have such a good time here.
See, look at the smile he has on his face.
He's very happy.
And I can tell when I talk to him on the phone, I don't get that same smile. You know,
he plays I'm not the internet superstar, but when he gets in here, we all know the truth. Nathan, it's been a little bit of time since you've been in here, a couple months. The market seems like it's been on one heck of a ride, according to what Philip's been telling us lately. What's your take?
Man, yeah, you're right. It was a couple months ago I came here. I talked about what our forecast was for housing and for mortgage rates. I gave you a little bit of an outlook for 2022, and like you said, it's been like this white-knuckle roller coaster ride ever since then. So, you know, I had mentioned at the time that obviously COVID was going to still be a wild card on any predictions, but, you know, sadly, I was wrong because, you know, now it's probably even worse. Right now, the big wild card, of course, is this Russian invasion of Ukraine. It has an impact on everybody in the world, but especially, too, it has an impact on the economic conditions. And that's what we're seeing right now. It's just things are going all over the place with regards to mortgage rates right now. So if we kind of take a little step back, rates, they kind of blew through the 4% level, like it wasn't even there. We really saw some of our biggest moves the first week or so of February. Now, some of that's kind of come down since the Russian invasion. It's kind of strange how that works. Sometimes international strife can create a benefit to mortgage rates. That's not the way we want to see it, but that can happen. But then you also still have, you know, inflation concerns. So we're playing this ping pong game right now. So, you know, we'll have to see how it goes. But right now we're looking at 30-year fixed mortgage rates right now in the low 4s. Still good rates historically, obviously, but they're, you know, good full % off where they were a year ago.
So many of the customers are going, well, the rates are out of control.
Right.
and it's kind of, you know, I understand that when you've been sub 4 and low 3s for so long that this seems like it's insane.
Right.
But it's really good.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think as time goes on, we're probably going to see rates continue to move upward. We're probably going to see them in the mid-4s here in a very short period of time. If that can stabilize for just a little while and everybody get used to it, then everything will be okay. But it's just that initial shock factor, right? I mean, it's the same thing with housing prices. As they were going up, you know, 10%, oh my goodness, where's the bubble? You know, here we are, it's, you know, house prices are up, you know, 20% per year and continuing to grow strong. People are now starting to just get used to the fact that, yeah, prices are what they are, you know?
Right.
And it's kind of going to be the same way with rates.
So
we were here 11 years ago, and we were here at the bottom of the market. We bought our first house.
Yeah.
So we've been hearing now, and especially from my husband, you know, you never know when this is going to crash. I go, it's 11 years. I don't see it crashing. I mean, I just keep seeing it accelerating.
Well, it's even less of a chance now. It really seems that way unless the geopolitical thing goes out of control, right? But you know, the numbers are still up there. If there's going to be a correction, the highest of the highs will have the biggest correction. The ones that are in the mid-range and low, which are high, are really just going to be stable and sit right where they are. So we just don't see it. I mean, it could, but we just don't see that that's going to move. Plus, there's just this huge demand still, you know, not just for our age group, but more importantly, the millennial group is the biggest group sitting on the sidelines waiting to go. So that 30-year-old group, you know, just turned 30, that's the prime first, you know, home person out there. So that's the big market coming up. It's going to continue to be a big ride because there's just not enough homes for those folks.
Well, and also too, you know, you're seeing the annual appreciation still, you know, 18-19% annually it's still on pace, but also now rents are staying on pace with that as well.
Right.
So, you know, some people might think, well, a house housing is rising so much so quickly, maybe we should just rent. Well, so is rent.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's not, that's not the
one.
fallback plan. Right. And that's the other thing, right? It's just as hard to find a quality rental as it is to find.
Well, with I see numbers like 7% and better, right? On the rents being, going up. And when you start to look at that number against buying, even if you're paying more money for it, over the long haul, owning is still the best answer.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So, and then of course we still have inflation. It's not likely to get curbed anytime soon. The Federal Reserve is the one who has to figure out how to balance the need to raise short-term interest rates to curb inflation while not trying to also destroy the economy at the same time with this geopolitical uncertainty. So it's a real delicate balancing act that they have. They're going to meet here in the middle of March. The consensus is they're going to take a slower approach to raising short-term interest rates. So if they do that, that only delays curbing inflation. So we're going to probably see mortgage rates continue to rise and stay on the higher end of things probably for the next 18 months. So that's what we're kind of predicting.
How does that all work in layman's terms? Or maybe I should say, how is it supposed to work with the inflation rates and raising the interest rate? How does that all work in layman's terms? How could you best describe that, Nathan?
Yeah, I mean, the show doesn't last long enough to go into the details of it. So I will try and give you the Cliff Notes version of it.
That's what we need.
Yeah, so when you have inflation, you have high prices. When you raise short-term interest rates, the Federal Reserve is basically saying, now what we're doing is we're going to be charging money to borrow. Okay. So all these institutions that are running, rampant and doing so well with the economy, well, now it's going to cost them more. That then ultimately slows the pace of the economy down.
Got it.
Hence, inflation comes back down, and now you have a normal run, economy. So you always have that balancing act of you don't ever want it to run too fast,
right,
and you don't want it to run too slow. That's what the Federal Reserve is supposed to do. Keep things going right down the middle of the road. And they have done a crappy job of it. Hopefully I can say that on the radio.
You already did.
So. I already did. Okay, sorry.
Don't we have a delay? No.
I missed. Darn it. I tried to hit the dump button and I just missed. So, oh well.
I'm sure everybody would agree with that statement.
I would definitely
and a different
agree
word
with that.
being used.
It's been up and down, right? We've just been seeing it. 1 minute we're saying the rates are going down, the next minute the rates went up, and then you see the little geopolitical thing happen, and all of a sudden that gets curbed slightly. The market's been a roller coaster for everybody out there, losing 1,000, losing 3,000, gaining it back all in the same day.
Right.
I mean,
right.
that's just nuts.
It's crazy.
Yeah, in all fairness to the Federal Reserve, I mean, COVID was something that, there was no historical data to go, well, this is what we should do.
Right, right.
So, they dialed everything all the way down to, the federal funds rate at 0%. Okay, that probably helped for a little while, but now what it's done is it's let things just run rampant to where we're seeing the inflation at these 40-year highs, and now something has to be done about that, while we're obviously watching the international strife. So I wouldn't want their job, but it's going to be a challenge. But hey, housing is still strong. That's what we do for a living.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was going to say, we've had some bad news. Now, how about a little bit of good news?
Oh, good news. Yeah, I got some good news.
Please.
Well, the good news is anytime you have this type of thing, you want strong employment. So ADP, they released employment report, and more jobs were created in February than anticipated. That's a good thing because we need people to be working to pay for all this stuff.
Yeah.
One of the things is the biggest gains came from big companies who can compete with their higher wage demands. I actually read something or saw something yesterday. Target is offering $24 an hour.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah. Isn't that
So-
crazy?
Well, they said, didn't they have a range? They said 15 to
15 to
24. I thought I saw, but
yeah.
maybe you're right.
But that's still a big number.
Still
a big number.
Yeah, no.
It's
So
amazing.
I mean,
Target's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
that's right. Well,
Just saying.
there again,
Yeah.
guess who's going to pay for that?
Yeah.
That's right. That's
there,
right.
there goes your inflation conversation,
Yeah,
right?
right.
It continues on. So the bad news is those small businesses, they actually lost ground. They lost about 100,000 jobs, which is why we're seeing those signs when we walk down downtown Punta Gorda, downtown Fort Myers, other places we love to frequent. hey, we're hiring, and that's because, again, it's hard to compete with some of these big companies.
Oh, any drive-through you go through, there's a sign out front.
Well, you even see it in the restaurants. So the restaurant's got a line outside, and they're telling you that it's a 45-minute to an hour wait. There's empty tables there, but it's not
staffing.
They don't have the staff to be able to support it. And so if they do put it in there, people are going to complain all over the internet that the service was terrible and all that. So they've got to they also have to figure out this balance on how to keep people in, keep people happy, keep the customer service going. Plus, I can only imagine what it's like trying to buy enough, food to kind of plan out there. You know what I mean?
With all the people coming to Southwest Florida?
It's true.
It is true.
Well, how about the things from the real estate perspective, Philip? What do you think?
Well, listen, we're flat out, and I think I said this earlier on. This is the first time. This week is the first time ever in 10 years that Jennifer's been in the real estate business that we don't have a single listing to talk about.
Wow.
We sold out of everything. We sold 6 homes this week. We've been averaging 5 homes a week since the beginning of the year, right? So that's the average we've been doing. 6 homes this week. We got 4 new listings. Now, here's the other side of the coin, and this has to do with the rules and regulations of the real estate business.
Right.
We've got 10 signed listings we can't talk to you about. Because the rules are, unless I can put it on the market within 24 hours, I can't go out and pre-market it. So here we are. We've got a bunch of people out there that are looking to buy.
Oh, yeah.
We've got stacked on the sidelines 10 listings that we can't bring to the market yet for whatever those reasons. Getting pictures, professional pictures, people who got renters in, get cleaners in, all that kind of stuff that's going to slow this stuff to get out in the marketplace. And we can't tell. And then what ends up happening is our team's got a whole bunch of buyers. So where do you think these things go? They go to the buyers we have, and people are going to say, oh, you're just, pocket listing it. And we're not. We just can't get them out to the market. And so that's what you're seeing out there. You see so many of these, products that go out to the market, and you see 0. They go on the market and they come off the market the same day because they're already pre-sold.
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, the market is still extremely hot out there, and it's just something that we're challenged. We ourselves have gone out and we're looking for more and more listings, just like everybody else.
Sure.
And we're putting together more and more programs to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, crazy. Jennifer,
absolutely.
No listings, but you got other stuff to talk about.
But we've got lots of stuff to talk about. So Nathan and I have been doing several deals over these last week. So I was telling Nathan that we have so many of our sellers that cannot move right away for whatever reason. They're holding out. They just want to stay or extend their closings. And so we have buyers that are willing to do that. However, if they're lending, we've run into this problem about having their fees locked in, right?
How do you lock in a rate? Right, because obviously they're trying to count on it. Well, okay, I'm buying a house for such and such price. I'm borrowing such and such amount of money. What are rates today? Well, typically a normal interest rate lock is going to be 30 to 60 day rate lock. Well, if it goes beyond that, the challenge becomes where you can lock in a rate that's beyond that. The rates are higher. So and so now you have this conundrum. Well, do I lock in now at a higher rate because it's a longer lock, or do I just sit and wait, knowing that Nathan has been on the radio show saying rates are going to go up, and so far he's been right. So it is a challenge. With our clients is trying to figure out that balance, and oftentimes we can kind of gauge what's going on in the market and say, well, here's the general direction. Here's what we think you should do. I mean, we see one day rates are shooting up 0.25%, and the next day they're down 0.1%, and it's just this swing game. So, usually what we try and do is we simply say, okay, here's your rate today. If you lock it in, here's what likely the worst case scenario would be. What's the difference in the payment? What do you want to gamble with? And because frankly, people who have money in the stock market, they're used to kind of weighing the pros and cons of. If it goes up, I benefit this way. If it goes down, this is what I'm going to lose. So,
Right.
a lot of people right now are playing with what we would call house money. They've had money in the stock market. Stock market has, been up, basically 50% since the COVID lows. So anybody who's been riding the market is, they're playing with house money. And now with the stock market kind of going down, a lot of people are pulling money out, sitting on the sidelines. And I think that's going to, benefit real estate, frankly, until, there's a clear bottom of what's going on. So I'm mentioning all that again because, you can have these conversations with clients like, listen, the worst case scenario is you're going to pay $70 more a month. The best case scenario is rates may, stay where they're at or go down, and you may improve $25 a month. Is it worth the gamble?
Right. That's what I always tell everybody. I'm going to give you your options. This is what we can do, whether it's putting in an offer or financing or, paying cash, et cetera. Whether it's a buyer or a seller, we have these conversations with our sellers all the time. Okay, what are the risks to taking somebody that's financing, et cetera?
So here's the real deal. In the time that they're having this conversation, that house was sold.
That's bottom line.
No, it's true.
This is 100%.
Yeah.
Crazy.
When somebody says, "Well, let me think about it," all right, so let me send you some more to look at because it's over.
Yeah.
Nathan, contact info one more time, please.
239-898-8841. My website, agentslender.com, or once again, you can catch me on Facebook, Nathan Davis. You'll find me, red cape and all.
There you go. He's a hero. Jennifer, contact, please.
585-300-9483 or our local line at 941-219-5659, mydigitallisting.com, and also see our shows on Radio1 SouthwestFlorida.com.